Hello and welcome back to Pseudo Gameplay TV for another character analysis in Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3. Today, the character that we're having a look at is Luke Cage. Now, Luke Cage has been around for a little bit. He first appeared in the comics in 1972, and I first knew him under his alias of Power Man. Now, Luke Cage is primarily a member of the Defenders Brigade, and is most commonly seen with the likes of Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and a few others. Particularly with Luke Cage, though, it's very important to remember that he is primarily a melee combatant, which is a lot of the fighting styles that we tend to see in this game, but he has some interesting utilities with his kit. Now, real quick before we look at these attacks, it is important to note that Luke Cage is most well known for his superhuman strength and durability, as well as the possession of unbreakable skin. His Wikipedia bio does state that he has an accelerated healing factor. That is not showcased in the version of the game, but that doesn't make him any less of a character in terms of his use and viability. So his four main attacks that he gets to use or has access to, for the first one is the old school action, where he performs a series of wild strikes, and this is an attack that you can mash the button repeatedly in order to continue using. And it's pretty safe to use on stagger barred and blocks against the opponents that you come across. The second attack that he has access to is the Harlem Express, which sends the character rushing forward with a powerful punch. And this is an attack that you can hold to aim before you let go and unleash that attack. His third attack that's unlocked is the Power Slam, where Luke Cage will slam the ground with both of his fists, attacking the area with a shockwave. So a little bit of an area of effect on this attack, but you do need to keep in mind that, again, it's pretty limited in the range that it has, and we'll showcase that here in just a moment. His fourth and final ability that we need to take note of is the Chain Gang, where Luke Cage will grapple an enemy using a chain and then slam them into the ground. And this is a very high damage dealing attack. It's pretty focused though, so it has its uses to be sure, but just keep that in mind as you look to apply it. Now, the synergy that we have built up is maximizing Luke Cage's individual synergies, which he does have, of course, with Iron Fist, Hulk, and Storm. And now in the comics, it's very common to see Luke Cage and Iron Fist running around together, but well, it's really no surprise that that's something that's incorporated in this game as well. So let's jump into our favorite Infinity Rift and showcase Luke Cage in a wave type attack with lots of characters to focus down. Alright, so as we have a look at his attack starting off, he does have a second midair jump, and his aerial attack he will slam down and cause a fair degree of knockdown and knockback against his opponents. His medium attacks are a pretty standard set of punches. The last one does have some knockdown to it. And his heavy attack, he'll actually whip out a chain and kind of lash out in front of him. So that adds a little bit of some ranged capability to the character. Now, in terms of his special attacks, we have this kind of old school beatdown, which he will just kind of lunge out directly in front of him in a series of attacks. When you release the button, he does have kind of one final knockdown for any of the opponents still standing kind of in his way. Now, a second one, the Harlem Express, is one that you can kind of aim. It works best in the direction of multiple people, but does have a fair bit of knockdown against all those opponents, providing they do not have a stagger bar. Now, his third attack, the Power Slam, you have to make sure that you're not getting attacked by another opponent, but there's kind of that small little area of effect immediately around him, and it does a pretty good amount of damage to opponents even if they still have their stagger bar left. and it will do a decent amount of knockdown as well against those opponents. Let's gather up a little bit of mana as we look to showcase his final attack, which is that Chain Gang. And if he does connect on that attack, he will latch onto the opponent and then throw them against the ground pretty violently to take him down. Now his ultimate attack is done best in the middle of a group of characters, where he'll swing this chain around him and then slam them down onto the ground. And it's very good for breaking down large characters with a high amount of shield that you need to work out. And it's really effective at taking down groups of standard grunts. But yeah, Luke Cage is quite efficient. He is a primary melee attacker, so do keep that in mind as you seek to use him in your team setups, because he just does a lot better up close and personal. But if you're dealing with ranged attackers, he's gonna struggle pretty abysmally. But he has a fair amount of damage output. I think Hulk is still a little bit better in terms of mass amounts of damage, but that is in no means a detriment to Luke Cage's capabilities. But that's what Luke Cage looks like. He's fun to use, he's useful. You just got to remember to stay up close with him in order to make the best use. But that's going to do it for today's character analysis. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care.